The deer gun season begins November 23rd, and the last thing anyone wants to happen in the woods is an injury. And joining us this morning to talk about these types of injuries is Megan Anderson, Trauma Injury Prevention Coordinator at Amplify Health. Good morning, Megan. Welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning.
So, Megan, what is the most common injuries hunters experience this time of year?
Yeah, hunting season, a lot of times we think about firearm safety, but at our level 2 trauma center, the top injury that we see is related to falls, especially falls from tree stands. So average fall is about 15 feet from a tree stand, which can result in some pretty serious injuries.
And when you say that people are falling out of tree stands, what is the main reason for that? What is the culprit? Is it the tree stand itself, or is it their activity?
Yeah, lots of different reasons that we see falls from tree stands, but it is really important if you are using a tree stand to make sure that you check your equipment and your straps before you're using that, just to make sure there isn't any deterioration. To reduce the risk, hunting from the ground is the only way to really reduce that, but checking your equipment is a great idea, making sure you're not going to slip on any steps, get snagged up on branches, things like that as well. So just being very aware if we are using tree stands.
And also the safety equipment needs to be worn too, because if they fall asleep, they got to be able to stay in the stand, correct?
Yeah, so tree stands, safety equipment is super important, so just making sure that we are harnessing into the tree stand and then using extra caution.
Okay, well, sometimes we hear about heart attacks in the woods. It seems like we hear about those every year. Is that happening as well?
If you think about the activities related to deer hunting, so it can be a lot of walking over rough terrain, sometimes you're dragging a deer in the woods. That's a lot of strenuous physical activity, especially if you're not used to that. So heart attacks can happen. It's really important to just take breaks, make sure you're asking for help if needed, because it can be pretty strenuous.
Well, hopefully hunters will be able to take the time to be extra safe this season and maybe lighten the load on your ER rooms, Megan. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to learn more about traumatic brain injury prevention, check this story out on our News 19 mobile app or online at WXOW.com.